How's it going, folks? CR here, bringing you another gun control Q&A. So, this time I'm going to start limiting my questions to 5 questions for brevity purposes. So, sit back and enjoy some of your questions being answered. Okay, so I take it from this question, you are getting a lot of people answering on Quora that are gun rights advocates. And the thing is on this one is that there could be several reasons on why. First one being is that generally the people that know a lot about firearms tend to be pro-Second Amendment. That's just how it goes. I mean, there is a correlation between people who know about firearms and their support for the freedom to own and carry firearms. That is one such reason. Another such reason is that you might live in an area that is not particularly friendly to firearms and gun ownership is unheard of. Rest assured, that's not the same way for the rest of the U.S. There are places in the U.S. where firearm ownership is very common. And these people in this area realize that firearm ownership is not a bad thing. In fact, it can be a good thing. So, that would be another such reason. I am very much so opposed to this. First off, the AMA focuses on medicine. They are not firearm specialists. They are not criminologists. They're not legal experts. Their focus is medicine. So the only thing they're going to do, which they have been trying to do in this debate so far, is to push a fact-free and emotionally charged push for every single gun law gun control groups are proposing. And I am not in favor of this. You're not going to come up with any good solutions with this way of thinking. And furthermore, do you really think it's a good precedent that we start deciding policy based on how many emotional voices we get on this, as opposed to the merits of, say, each proposed solution? Well, I think that's a very bad idea, and I don't think we should be forming our public policy based on emotionally charged rhetoric, which is the only thing the AMA has offered in this debate so far, and it's the only thing I think they're going to continue to add in the future. Okay, so if you're being genuine about this question, welcome to the gun control debate. I can tell you just jumped in. Alright, so there are several reasons why gun control gets conflated with gun bans. You should ask the gun control side of the aisle on that one. Why they support things like, quote, assault weapons ban. You know, Dianne Feinstein has been introducing a new one every single year here the last few years. You got to think back, the D.C. versus Heller decision. Do you know what was being ruled on in that case? It was an outright handgun ban in the D.C. area. And all the people who were supporting common sense gun laws, as they put it, went in favor of that outright handgun ban in D.C. Same thing with Chicago versus McDonald. There, it was another example where the gun controllers were defending an outright ban on handguns. When you look at some of the examples that gun controllers put out for their ideal system, it's as close to a ban as they can get. You have gun laws like the UK, which pretty much put firearm ownership out of the hands of the average person, and if they do get a firearm, there's a lot of firearms that they cannot have. They have to get a license for it. It has to be renewed constantly just to own it. The police can come in and inspect how your firearms are stored. I mean, and many firearms, to get a license for there, you have to have what they call a genuine reason. You're getting as close to a ban as you can get without calling it an outright ban. Other bits of hints that these guys are in favor of a gun ban is if you listen to some of their rhetoric, they'll always sit there and say the answer is not more guns, it's less guns. Oh, we need to have less guns on the streets. What do you think they're implying by this? So yes, there are a number of reasons why gun control gets conflated with gun bans. Okay, and the reason for this being is there are Americans, I'm one of them, that understand that we do have a right to keep and bear arms. And in fact, our founders understood this right as well, too. This is why they wrote the Second Amendment, which was a protection of said right. Now, we do have restrictions on firearms in this country, many of which are in violation of that amendment. But people accept these restrictions on the proviso that the general public still, at least in some sort of milquetoast way, has that right recognized. There are people like you, however, here, and we call them gun controllers. These people advocate for, quote, common sense gun laws, and they just want another gun law. And hearkening back to my previous question that I answered, these people, this mentality right here is the very exact reason why we are so opposed to gun control. Is because it makes firearms inaccessible for the general public, the average person. Which is more unconstitutional than what we've got now, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so the answer to this question can be found in Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution. We have a process to amend the Constitution. Nowhere in Article 5 does it say a referendum is a viable solution. Granted, they made it very difficult to amend the Constitution, not impossible. The thing is our founders did not want our Constitution, our rule of law, being changed on the whims of a simple majority. And there's a good reason for it. Imagine this. Imagine if they had a referendum tomorrow in your country to hang all the black people. And that proposal got voted on yes, 51%. Would you still be in favor of it? I mean, come on. It was a referendum. The people chose. Maybe there are certain things the majority might not be right on. And you know what? I'm inclined to agree with our founders that our rights supersede a simple majority vote. And moreover, we have a referendum 1 year to say the question is for the referendum is, shall we treat the Second Amendment as it is? Right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, or shall we repeal the Second Amendment? Well, Second Amendment wins this one. What's going to happen next year? The gun controllers are going to want another vote. They're going to want another vote and another and another and another vote until they get the answer that they want. Right? This is just the nature of their beast. If you look at people like Dianne Feinstein, who's been constantly told no with her stupid assault weapons ban, and yet she's introducing it every single year. The same way for, quote, universal background checks. They've been told on that one no several times in the past, and yet they keep on introducing this bill. When it comes down to things like national concealed carry reciprocity, or something as basic as removing sound suppressors from the NFA Title II list, you hear blood on the streets. with these people. These people would not let that come to a vote. If they could avoid it. Which is, by the way, what they did after the Vegas shooting with the National Concealed Carry Reciprocity Bill and the SHARE Act, is they pretty much demanded Republicans shelve it. So, again, another reason why I do not support a referendum on this stuff. Okay, folks, so thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you have questions that you want me to answer, well, you can put them in the comments section, or you can go to Quora and ask them on Quora, and I might be able to answer them. Y'all take her easy out there. Have a great day.